Reps in reserve. So, in the Lifting for Women fitness program, we use this concept to make sure that we are consistently training with the right intensity and pushing ourselves. So, in this video, we're going to dive into what reps in reserve or RIR is, why we use it, and how you will see it on the training app once you're inside this program. So, what is reps in reserve? It's basically a method of measuring the intensity of your set by describing the number of reps you have left in the tank after you complete a set. Or another way to think about it is how many more reps you could do before reaching failure. And this is a simple yet effective way to make sure that you're working out at an appropriate intensity that aligns with your goals. And this is important because the key to successful training is finding balance between pushing yourself hard enough to get the results you want, but also allow your body to recover adequately and avoid burning out. And people usually do one of two things. They usually just go through the motions and don't push themselves hard enough, or they go too hard, train to failure every session, and basically run themselves into the ground. And this is when you start to see overuse injuries, tendinitises, plateaus, things like that. So, using this concept of reps in reserve helps to avoid these common pitfalls that usually prevent people from reaching their goals or even sustaining them long term. So, the benefit of using RIR is that it gives structure to your training. It allows you to work out in a smart and safe way that adapts to your current level and how you feel on a daily basis. And that's the most important part because how you feel on a daily basis is going to change depending on different things. So how you slept, your diet, any stress that is being applied to your body, whether that's physical stress through your workouts or emotional stress, daily stress from work, things like that, and also your recovery between sessions. These are all gonna play a role into how you feel day in and day out. Some days are going to be good, some days will be bad. Each session is going to feel different. You know how sometimes when you're working out, the weight you lifted last week feels like 20 pounds heavier. That's a perfect example. Sometimes you're going to feel like you can lift anything, and then other days you're going to feel like you just want to skip your workout. But we know that if we want to get results long term, we're going to have to be consistent. So, this is a way to train consistently despite the fluctuations and how you may be feeling day in, day out. So, this concept of RIR lets you adjust your program based on these factors, but still allows you to make progress towards your goal, whether it's a good day or a bad day, whether you have a lot of stress in your life, it still allows you to make consistent progress. And this is what allows you to make sustainable progress, and it allows you to sustain your goal for the long run. So many people do well for the first 3 or 4 weeks, but they can't keep up with their workout program. They can't keep up with their routine for the long run. And that's why they can't get to where they want to be. They kind of take 3 steps forward and then 4 steps back because they aren't doing it in a sustainable way. So a real life example of how this may show up is, say you go to the gym and you do squats with 150 pounds for 4 sets of 8 on Monday, and you feel like you could have done three more reps on each set. But on Friday, you do the same thing. You try to do the same thing, and it was a long and stressful week of work, and you weren't getting a lot of sleep, a lot of quality sleep. So you try to do the 150 pounds for 4 sets of 8, but you're only able to actually do 140 pounds for 4 sets of 8. You didn't get weaker. It's just that you have a lot of different factors, like we talked about, playing into your performance levels, and you're just not able to perform at that same intensity that day. But if you use reps in reserve, as long as you're leaving the prescribed number of reps left in the tank and training according to that, over time, you're going to see that you're still making progress despite the discrepancies in your workout from Monday to Friday. So, how we use this in lifting for women and how it shows up in the app. I'm going to give you guys a real life, an actual example of how it looks, and then I'll explain each. And then from there, if you guys have questions, you can um, ask me or email me or write me on the app once you're inside. So on the left hand side, you see 1.5 goblet squat, and then you have your set number, pounds lifted, reps, and RIR. Okay. So all this means the way it's written is you're going to do 2 sets at reps in reserve 1 and then 1 set at reps in reserve 0. And this means that for the first 2 sets, you're going to perform as many reps of the goblet squat as you can until you feel like you can only do one more rep. If you were to continue, aka only have 1 rep left in the take on those 2 sets. And then on the last set, you're going to perform as many reps as you can until you no longer can perform anymore. So that's a rep in reserve 0. So based on those reps and reserves, you'll enter how many reps you did and how many pounds you lifted, and then that'll be it. If you do this 3 times a week, you're gonna notice that your reps and pounds may change based on your fatigue levels, based on how you're feeling during the week, and that's totally fine. Just hitting the reps in reserve is going to be helpful to keeping you on track and keeping you from pushing too hard or pushing too little. Another example is a barbell bench press. And I wrote this as 3 sets at RIR2. So all this means is that for all 3 sets, you're going to perform as many reps of the bench press as you can until you feel you can only do 2 more reps if you were to continue. AKA, you're going to leave 2 reps left in the tank each set. So this is something I sometimes use to see where somebody is at, because say you're doing 15 pounds on a bench press and you're knocking out 20 reps and saying you feel like you can still do 2 more, then I know as a coach that you're not pushing yourself hard enough. So then I'll go in there for the next time and adjust your pounds and tell you exactly how many to do. So this is beneficial for me as a coach, but it's also beneficial for you to see how your performance is and if you're pushing yourself hard enough. So in the beginning, this may be confusing and you might struggle to understand how many reps you have left in the tank because it is a pretty subjective process. But with practice, you'll get better. You'll have more body awareness, more self-awareness, and you'll be able to know how close to failure you are. And ultimately, this is going to help you gauge how hard you're going day in and day out. It's going to allow you to make smart and sustainable progress towards your goals and have a better sense of how to train consistently. So if you guys have any questions after watching this video and reading the associated handout, message me, whether it's on social media or inside the app, and I'll get back to you.